Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Popeye Live, May 7th, 2021. And, there was some stuff I was going to start out with, but there was some interesting thing that caught me on YouTube this afternoon when I was kind of just carousing around through it. And I came across this guy, Adam Sandoval, who's a big Harley guy, and he was talking about, he said that Harley Davidson was planning to close up to 200 dealerships across the nation. Now, I find that was interesting, but he used the DFW area as an example of too many dealerships. In other words, what he was saying about this area is that there were too many dealerships, and they were about 15 miles apart across the metroplex. Now, I do have an answer for that. I do, because you have to realize in the DFW area, I mean, we've got over 7 million people within this area. 7 million. And I don't see any shortage in customers for these dealers that are some 10 miles apart, some 15 miles apart. I see that many of these dealerships have just built new buildings that are multi-million-dollar facilities. So I don't see any of these dealerships closing. I really don't see it. And so, but we'll find out as things go along. I think the biggest part of Harley Davidson's failures are not listening to their customers and trying to go after things other than what brought them to the game, if you know what I mean. So they need to pay more attention to their customers and quit chasing dreams. That's like the latest road bike that Harley Davidson introduced. Well, guess what? The KLR Kawasaki is just being introduced for 2022 and a lot cheaper. Now, there are some differences, and maybe we'll one day here do a show where we're comparing these long distance road bikes. And for years the BMW has been king in that category. But man, let me tell you, and you're right, Forrest, their management sucks, and they keep trying to do things other than what brought them to the game. I'm just saying, everybody, you got to pay attention. And probably the worst thing about everything is the fact that young people they're not interested in motorcycles. They're interested in these damn video games and other type of stuff. But then again, that's up to the parents. If you want your child to be a video game kid and anything other than a man or a woman who has enough interest, enough gumption to get out there and get off their butts and go do other things besides play video games. And we're seeing the results of that now in the young people that seem to think communism is a good idea, that seems to think that rioting is a good idea, and destroying people's lives is a good idea. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Maybe we'll compare all these motorcycles and go down the list of which one you should buy or which one shouldn't you buy if you're have that kind of interest. But always my long distance bikes were whatever I had. And yeah, I've ridden thousands of miles. And so, yeah, and Jamon, you're right too. Harley has to put out better, cheaper, and more. You're right about that. And it seems like every time I think they've got something going, all of a sudden they end it. They end it. I mean, I don't understand it. But they're going to have to find ways to bring new riders in. And they're going to have to be able to compete with these other companies that seem to be able to build them cheaper. But, I mean, you know, hey, I hope they start making the right decisions on their products that they're putting out and paying attention to their customer base, the people that brought them, the people that made them. That's what they need to do. Yeah, well, you know, the Pan America, we'll see how it does in competition. We'll see how it does, and maybe we'll go compare them. Be an interesting thing. But, man, I'll tell you what. Is everybody bored with the potato head and the hoe? I mean, they're anywhere and everywhere and just spreading BS everywhere. I mean, the potato head has already failed at his #1 campaign promise. And what was that? Well, he was going to unite the country. And I promise you, they've done anything but unite the country. I mean, they are stirring as much shit as they can. Everywhere, over any reason. It's insanity is what it is. But you know what? The American people are watching this. You're watching this. And as you know, they had a bad jobs report today. And of course now he's saying that's the reason he needs to really push to his plan. Just spending this into oblivion. I mean, Biden says he doesn't understand Republicans. That means he doesn't understand half the country, is what that means. He said he could get along with anybody. He could be bipartisan. Does anybody see that he is bipartisan? That he's out there and he's reaching across the aisle and saying, I'm going to work with you. He hasn't worked with anyone but the lunatics that surround him. And he caves into them every time he tries to make a decision other than what they want. They've got him right where they want him. Putting his finger up in the air and see which way the Democratic political winds are blowing is what he's doing. And you know, he and Kamala, you know, the #1 problem in this country, the #1 problem is white supremacy. That's the #1 problem in this country. I submit to you that that's way down the list. The white supremacists are a very, very, very tiny part of the population. It may not even register. That's the truth of it. And Asian hate. You know, let's tell the truth about Asian hate. There's very little of that going on. You know, they are at the top of the class in each and every school, high school, college. Yeah, you know the Ivy League colleges, they are racist against Asians. That's a university. That's not white people who are doing things in favor of minorities, where Asians can't get admitted even though they have the credentials. But let me say this, most of Asian hate crimes are in liberal cities. New York, LA, the list runs on and on of liberal cities where Asians are being attacked, in particular women. And guess what? That's carried out by minorities. There's very few white people involved in those attacks. That's the truth of it, everybody. That is the truth of it. We have so much lying going on, and just like we said the other night, since when did all this lying, since when did all this become acceptable? To hear it day after day after day by the mainstream media and by progressive politicians and their cronies in the BLM and their cronies in Antifa and so on and so on. And you're right, Charles. You're right. Just excuses for bad behavior. And then today we have this bad jobs report. Oh, yeah. But, the extra $300 of unemployment gives no incentive for people to return to work. So now we have corporations, we have restaurants, the list runs on and on, that can't get people back to work. So I don't know how much fraud there is going on with this unemployment stuff, because it seems like they're just throwing money out there everywhere. How much fraud is going on? And is it so bad that people are not returning to work? But now, this extra $300 that everybody's getting, it ends in September. I don't know why it can't end today. I see no reason they can't end that today, other than there'll be thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million people that are on this unemployment, and that they are hoping they will extend it, who's just riding it out. So it's a terrible thing we see going on. But let me say this to you guys, hang on now. It is now 550 days till the next election cycle. So don't be discouraged. We're going to have a chance to straighten this stuff out and realize what's going on with the audits in Michigan, the audit in Arizona, where now all of a sudden the feds and the DOJ, Biden's DOJ, now let's call it that. It's been a progressive DOJ for quite some time. But listen to this. They sent a threatening letter to the Arizona Legislature warning them about this audit that they're doing, that they may be violating some people's voting rights. Let me say this. Arizona, the legislature, has the right to audit their election. They are the supreme authority when it comes to elections, not the federal government. They don't need to be making threats. And Biden has sent what I understand now to be hundreds of lawyers to Arizona to try and quell this audit. The mainstream media is already carrying on, throwing fits about it, saying it's a scam, when we know it's not. And let me say this, if they didn't have anything to worry about, they wouldn't worry about it. They wouldn't be doing all this. Now, the mainstream media says that, they're trying to overthrow the election. No, that's not it. This is not going to change it. But what it's going to do is going to let us know what's going on in our elections. That they're honest, that they're on the up and up. And all of this has got to be straightened out before the next election cycle. That's what has to happen. Now the truth has to come out on this. Whether Biden, Harris Biden, whatever you want to call it, the potato head, whatever, they're going to have to bite the bullet on it and let the truth come out. And let the potato head play out his days literally trying to destroy this government, this economy, and keep spending again and again and again with money that's not going what it's meant for. Like the infrastructure bill. Only 5% of it is going toward infrastructure. The rest of it is going toward bullshit. That's what I'm saying, everybody. I mean, he's saying we need to follow his plan and spend more. Give him free rein to spend as much as he wants. And let me say this, everybody. You can take all the money from all the rich people in the world, and it won't fund our government for 2 months. It won't do it. And it's like Margaret Thatcher said, communism works till you run out of other people's money. And that's the path we're on. That's the path we're on. 550 days. That's going to click off quick, everybody. That's going to really go quick. And people are already gearing up the campaign. They're already doing it. So let's not despair. Let's not get down. Let's know that retribution is coming. It's coming. And let me say this, I just saw another deal today where it was talking about Bill Gates was gonna help solve all the election problems all around the world. He's gonna fix it. We don't trust that son of a bitch with nothing. Nothing. He puts his butt in the middle of everything just because he can buy his way in. And that crap's gotta stop. We've got to stop letting these billionaires run things. They need to do what they do and make money and put people to work. They don't need to be trying to run this country. They don't need to be trying to run the schools. They don't need to be trying to change the weather. They don't need to be doing any of that shit. They don't need to be changing our DNA. Yeah, and Forrest, I agree with you on on Bill Gates. No, if you put a bad word in there, now they're going to censor you. So I have to straighten it out. So, yeah, hey, look, retribution is coming. And we need to plan and help make sure that retribution gets off to a good start. Because they are poised to lose the House, and I think they are poised to lose the Senate. And when they do, that's going to slow down Biden's Amtrak rail. Yeah. It's going to slow it all down. And we're going to be happy son of a guns that we hung in there. Hey, and I'm sorry, I got to wipe my nose. it's I don't know why all of a sudden, wow. But let me see. Bill Gates, who else would it be? Man, and they're going through a divorce now. I hope his wife does a tell-all on him, how crazy he is. How crazy, what a freaking lunatic he is. If he's not involved in vaccines and messing up children in other countries, and he tries to buy his way in on everything. Now he's trying to go meatless. Yeah, he's buying up land all over the country to raise meatless meat. I guess that's how you say that. It's stupid. You think everybody's going to want to do without their Big Mac? Of course, now we had that lady the other day that threw a Whopper at a Burger King. Threw a Whopper at the employees and said racist remarks. Now, that was from a black lady to, I guess, some black employees, calling them the N-word and carrying on. So, our society is a little bit mixed up right now. And I blame this on progressives, whether they're politicians or not. And I have a sister-in-law that's just like that. She hadn't been out of the house since last March of 2020, scared to death. And that too is a tragedy. That is a tragedy that we have people that are still wearing these damn masks, that their schools still closed around the country, and that and what's going on in India, Bangladesh. It's like we said, who didn't know that was going to happen? They got over 1 billion people in that country, and many of them do not have access to good health care, much less the vaccines. Of course, countries around the world will make sure they get it. Maybe not in a timely fashion, but they'll get it. And now, I heard the other day, they're going to pay people to take the vaccine. Now, I did take the time to look that up, and that's not happening right now. They'll give you the vaccine for free, but they're not paying you to get it. Not yet. The Biden administration, who knows? Who knows that they won't start paying people to get it. So if you want to make a little money, you might hold out a little while. Oh, yeah. We live in a crazy world right now. We've got to get this back to some sanity. And, Donald Trump showed us what a great economy looked like. Donald Trump was on the right path. And right now, we have every progressive out there trying to undo everything that he did, even if it was right. Even if it was right. They just do the opposite of what he did. That's like the chaos we have going on down on the border. They're refusing to finish the wall, which needs to be done. And I would say this to our governor, Governor Abbott. Get your asses down there, and if it takes us finishing the wall, let's finish it. If it's on our territory and it's causing us grief, then we need to take over. We don't need to listen to Biden. We don't need to obey Biden, not when it's affecting our state. And we do have sovereignty. We still do at this point. But if we let those maniacs continue, we won't have it. We won't have it. That's the reason we have to stop this in this next election cycle, and we need to make sure that these elections are straightened out. Doesn't matter how much the mainstream media bitches, doesn't matter how much the government bitches, the federal government, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We will not obey what we consider an unlawful order. And yeah, Forrest, I would too. I'd donate right now to finish the wall. You know, I assume that every bit of that land that wall is built on is not owned by the federal government. They may have permission to put it up on somebody's property, but I don't think they bought it. Maybe they did. Something we'll have to look into. But it needs to be finished, especially here in Texas, if it's causing us grief, and it's going to. Just think about this. Forrest, it caught you again. I mean, just think about this. Corporations can't get people back to work. People like the teachers unions are using the COVID as an excuse not to go back to work. And they've got power over Joe Biden. All they got to do is push a little bit, and he'll change his story. We need to tell the teachers unions in these other states that are not back into class, go to hell and get back to your job or get fired. One or the other. And we'll hire a new round of teachers that want to teach, that are concerned about the students and not concerned about their own asses. That's what we need to do. So, man. What else? The FBI is still a piece of shit. Yeah. So they're not, how do you put it? Their biggest worry is January 6th. Now they're still on that, wanting help from the public of who was there. Well, hell, if I was pissed off at somebody, I'd say they were there. There's no telling what kind of bullshit they're getting. You know, and really, on January 6th, the only person that was killed in that fiasco where the Capitol Hill police let the protesters in was Ashley Babbitt. No warning from the law or whoever was on the other side of the door. No warning. No saying stand back. Just put the gun up through the window and shoot. They won't investigate that, but they want to find everybody else. And the Capitol Hill police, in my view, leadership, and a lot of others need to be fired. need to be fired, because it's in my view they let that happen in order to stop what was going on inside that building. And you know what it was? It was the electoral votes and the legality of them. They were going to be protested. By the Senate, by Republican senators. And they stopped it in its tracks by letting people into the building and then murdering Ashley Babbitt. And the FBI is stuck on that, trying to find people who may have been in the building, not in the building, whatever else, anybody they can pin it on, because this is what they do. We're familiar with the FBI. They are a piece of shit, and they are the first ones that need to be defunded. If you don't defund them, you don't defund anybody. That's the truth of it. You know, and who knows, they might bust into my front door tonight. I don't know. But it's their fault because of the way they behaved, the things they've done over the last 4 years, the things the DOJ has done over the last 4 years. We need a house cleaning, everybody. We need a freaking house cleaning. And you need to quit watching that mainstream media. I mean, just tune their asses out. We need to tune the sports franchises out. I guarantee you, I won't watch them. I won't go to them. I won't participate. As long as they are supporting this socialist-style government, the woke position, and communism. Because that's what much of this is. And like I said the other day, eventually, the government is going to turn on the BLM. They're going to turn on Antifa. Because this is what happens with all socialist, communist-style governments. They can't give this much power to those people and have them around to turn on them, which they're totally capable of. They don't like the Biden administration any better, but what they do like about him is he'll cave to everything they say right now. He will. We'll see what happens when the midterms get close and everybody's sick of what's going on. They're recognizing it. Understand, the people out there are watching this, everybody. They're watching this. They're seeing what's going on. And they're seeing what has been happening over the last 4 years, and now it's on steroids. They're not going to put up with it. They're not going to be. So, well, I went longer than I thought I was going to. So, hey, look, I'm doing pretty good. I'm go see a doctor on Monday, and then we'll have a knockdown drag out over riding my bike. So we'll see what happens. With that, everybody, ride safe. If you don't have a motorcycle, buy one. Come ride with us. We got chapters in Tennessee, Arizona, New Mexico, and soon to be a few other places. Hill Country, Texas, West Texas. I mean, we're growing, and May have another news date here pretty soon. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday night with OG.